Get a cup, get a cup, get a cup. Hello, welcome back everyone to another video of Squilliam, and today we're looking at SpongeBob Conspiracy number 1, the Squilliam Theory by Alex Bale. Now, I've already reacted to another SpongeBob theory previously, but this is the first that Alex Bale has made. And yeah, I said I was going to react to it. A lot of people requested that I react to this. Without any further ado, the original link's in the description, and let's begin.
Squilliam Fancy Son! Squilliam Fancy Son! Squilliam Fancy Son!
Squilliam Fancy Son III is Squidward's rival from high school band class.
So, I just took my private yacht across my private lake to my private heliport.
He's more wealthy, popular, and talented than Squidward, and he always rubs it in his face.
That's right! I'm living your dreams, Squidward. Oh!
Squidward should just block him, right? Like, that's like people online on who get bullied on Facebook or something. Just block them. Like, you have that ability.
Just succeeding in everything you failed in.
But I intend to prove that he's a fraud, using his wealth to make himself seem more popular and talented than he actually is. He goes to ridiculously extreme and expensive lengths to humiliate Squidward and show his superiority, and I'm gonna prove it. SpongeBob is one of my favorite shows from my childhood. Even going back now and rewatching the old ones, it still holds up.
I think if you have to go and try to prove that you were superior, that in fact is evidence that you are inferior, right? Because someone who is superior would not need to do that.
You might think, it's just a kid's show, there's no continuity, there's nothing worth theorizing about, but the show constantly brings back characters and references to previous episodes, and if you look closely, you can connect the dots and find some very interesting stories. And today, I'm going to prove that Squilliam Fancy Son III is a manipulative fraud. Evidence number 1, the pet hospital. We first meet Squilliam in Season 2, Episode 15, Band Geeks. The episode opens with Squidward playing the clarinet and getting a knock on the door.
Yeah, we're with the pet hospital down the street, and I understand you have a dying animal on the premises.
Immediately after, Squidward gets a call from Squilliam.
Hello, you've reached the house of unrecognized talent. Please start after that.
Sounds as though you've got a dying animal to attend to, eh, old chum?
I believe that not only was
Wait, so he called the animal hospital?
Squilliam spying on Squidward to know when he was playing his clarinet, but he also hired the doctor to come and embarrass Squidward.
Yeah, we're with the pet hospital down the street. Pet hospital down the street.
We have never seen a
That's
pet
100% what happened.
hospital in Bikini Bottom. We've only ever seen just the regular Bikini Bottom hospital. We've seen this purple doctor fish before, but once again, he's never worked at a pet hospital. We've only ever seen him at the regular general hospital.
When Gary was sick, wasn't he also the doctor?
Well, Mr. Squarepants, it seems you have the suds. Are you ready for your treatment?
Then there's this green fish behind him, and we've only ever seen him as one of the many identical paramedics that work at the Bikini Bottom Hospital. We even see him at the end of the episode to take Squilliam away after fainting. So it is very likely that Squilliam hired these two and told them to pretend like they're from a pet hospital just to humiliate Squidward. But this is just the start of Squilliam's elaborate lies. Evidence number...
Well, I mean, there could be a pet hospital. Isn't that just called a veterinarian clinic? Maybe he works 2 jobs. Maybe that guy works 2 jobs. We don't know. But it's definitely proof that Squilliam called them on Squidward.
Number 2, the Bubble Bowl. In the same episode, Squilliam also says,
I'm the leader of a big fancy band now, and we're supposed to play the Bubble Bowl next week. The problem is, I'm busy next week and can't make it, so I was hoping you and your band could cover for us.
but we've never
Yeah, what was the band name? Why would you say I'm the leader of a big fancy band now? Right? If you are in a band, you'd probably want to say the name of it. Like, oh, I'm in Green Day, or I'm in, I don't know, whatever. Not just, I'm in a big fancy band.
seen Squilliam's band before, and despite claiming he's too busy to make it to the Bubble Bowl, he still shows up at the end to watch Squidward's band. So both his excuse and probably his band were made up to pressure Squidward into humiliating himself at the Bubble Bowl. Evidence number 3, Squilliam's friends. In Season 3, Episode 8, Squilliam returns. Squidward leaves for work and conveniently bumps into Squilliam and all of his fancy friends, despite Squilliam not seeming like the kind of guy that would come near the Krusty Krab. He and his friends make fun of Squidward for working as a cashier.
Hold it! Don't tell me! You're a cashier!
Don't lie. Lying always makes it worse.
But I believe that this encounter was planned out by Squilliam in advance, and he hired all of those people to pretend to be his friend.
Possibly. Also, though, like, why? Just because you have money doesn't mean you're not going to go to McDonald's or fast food restaurants. You've seen the videos where Warren Buffett goes to, like, I think he goes to McDonald's or Burger King before he goes to work, and, like, he goes in there in, like, a Bentley with, like, $3 of change to buy something. Obviously, that was a long time ago, because you can't really get anything for that anymore.
Friends. Take a look at Squilliam's friends. They're all nicely dressed. You kind of get the sense that they're fancy, high-status members of Bikini Bottom, but they aren't. This is more like what the fancy rich people in Bikini Bottom look like. These are just some regular Bikini Bottom citizens. Most of them usually don't even wear nice clothes like this. And most of them are regulars at the Krusty Krab and would already know Squidward as the cashier.
My daddy doesn't have enough slime!
These are not the type of people Squilliam would hang out with. I mean, why would Squilliam be hanging out with one of Pearl's teenage friends? At the end of the episode, Squilliam...
Why would a rich, powerful person be hanging out with some possibly underage people? Could we think of anyone in the real world who might do that?
even admits to his whole life being fake.
I made everything up about my life. I have no yachts, jets, or anything. I was only trying to impress you.
And then, of course, he quickly says he's just kidding.
Is that true? Of course not! I'm filthy stinking rich!
But was he kidding? I mean, obviously he's rich, but is there a nugget of truth in there? Evidence number 4, the statue.
There could be a nugget of truth. You know what makes the best lie? You know what makes the best lie is when you put a little bit of truth in it. Because then it's hard for people to be discerning on what part's true and what part's not.
In Season 7, Episode 6, Squidward has to pick up trash for community service, and Squilliam once again conveniently bumps into him and reveals he's cleaned up so much trash that the city actually built a statue of him.
Maybe if you clean up Bikini Bottom, they'll build a statue of you. Oh wait! They've already built one. Of me!
So he had to do community service too? For what? Tax evasion?
I cleaned up all of Bikini Bottom in only 1 week.
I believe that once again, this encounter was staged by Squilliam, and he actually paid to get that statue built. As Squilliam tells Squidward about the statue, a female fish admires it and says,
Bless you, Squilliam Fancyson. Bless you.
but if you remember, this is one of those friends Squilliam likely paid, making her whole
Oh,
comment
interesting.
feel very fake. By the end of the episode, Squilliam's statue gets destroyed. A police officer approaches and they have this exchange.
This is your statue?
It was.
Squilliam admits that it's his statue, not the city's. And why else would the officer give him specifically a ticket
That's a valid point. Why would he get a ticket if it was a city statue?
if it was city property? Evidence number 5, the concert.
That makes
In
sense.
Season 6, Episode 17, Squidward watches Squilliam play the clarinet at a big fancy concert. He receives a standing ovation, causing Squidward to leave angrily. But I believe this entire concert is a scam. Not only has the audience been paid to cheer, but Squilliam never even touches his instrument.
Okay, I got a flaw in this though. Isn't Squidward here though? So he could see that, like if Squidward's here for the whole thing, wouldn't he be able to see that Squilliam never picked it up or even played it? It's like, that's a flaw, if you ask me.
Once again, many of the audience members were part of Squilliam's quote-unquote friends, but we also never actually see Squilliam play the clarinet. The episode opens right after he's finished his performance with the audience cheering, and one member of the audience says,
He's such a great musician. He doesn't even have to touch an instrument to be brilliant.
maybe the
Whoa, maybe I was wrong. Yo, that right there admits it. But wait a minute. Wasn't Squidward in the audience? If Squidward was in the audience the whole time, he should be able to see that he wasn't playing it.
real reason Squidward leaves so angrily is because the audience cheered for Squilliam even though he never even touched his clarinet. Maybe Squilliam is just as bad as Squidward at the clarinet and he's trying to hide it.
Well, if Squidward saw that, he could use that against him or whatever, right?
Squilliam has gone to some pretty extreme lengths just to humiliate Squidward, but nothing, and I mean nothing, compares to what he does next. Evidence number 6, the music college. In the same episode, after Squidward leaves the concert, he's approached by the headmistress of the Bikini Bottom prestigious music college.
Aren't you the esteemed Squilliam Fancyson III, who we all came here to see perform tonight?
She mistakes him for Squilliam and offers him a position as a professor. Squidward pretends to be Squilliam and teaches a class, only for the police to burst in and arrest him, all while he's being filmed on live TV. And I believe that this is Squilliam's most elaborate and most expensive scheme to destroy Squidward both publicly and legally. This encounter where
How could she not tell that this isn't clearly not the same Squidward, or clearly not the same person? You know, he's dressed completely different in these average people clothes, and he's not dressed in freaking Gucci.
Squidward gets offered a job is already suspiciously convenient, but listen closely to their exchange.
I'm Squilliam, fancy son.
But didn't you just say a minute ago that your name was Squidward Q Tentacles?
It is. No, I mean, no, I didn't.
Well, that's a relief. I mean, what kind of a moron would go to their worst enemy's music recital?
What kind of moron would go to their own enemy's music recital? How does she know that Squidward and Squilliam are enemies?
That is odd. That is a bit too much information. I would say there's definitely some validity to this theory.
If she knew who Squidward was, then why didn't she recognize him? Why would she mistake him for Squilliam? This feels way too much like she was hired by Squilliam to set a trap for Squidward. And if that's not enough, the headmistress's associate is literally just a guy from the paid audience wearing a disguise. He just threw on some glasses to seem smart. Squilliam knew that Squidward couldn't resist the opportunity to teach it.
See, I wonder how much of this is like these people that he's mentioning are, oh, this person's in this group, or this person was here and there. The people who design SpongeBob and the characters in it, they probably have a catalog of people that they can include in their videos, like drawn characters that they can use that they know living in Bikini Bottom. So my question is, are they on purposely mixing all these people in here, showing that there's a link between them all? Or are they just previously drawing characters from SpongeBob that they're using because they know they live in Bikini Bottom and they're not really thinking that too much? Or they're not thinking too much about it, and Alex is just drawing conclusions based because they're in certain scenes here or there. I don't know.
Music class, even if it meant breaking the law.
My very own music class.
Then we get to the Bikini Bottom prestigious music college, and right off the bat, there's
That looks like a dumpster.
something very fishy about this place. The building itself is very green and grimy and has a very cheap metal look. Nothing about this says prestigious except for the big sign on top, which feels like the only new thing about this building. I think there is a very good chance that Squilliam just bought some old warehouse, then stuck a sign and some paint on it to disguise it as a college.
I think I would agree with that. I think Squidward really just, I mean, he really messed up by trying to, take someone's identity there. But he really just needs to leave Squilliam alone. Why go to his music thing if you know he's playing? Why keep picking up the phone if he's talking? Like, you have to take responsibility as well. You just stop talking to this person and leave them alone.
I mean, look at these other schools in Bikini Bottom. They all have a very nice structure and a paint job, but this prestigious music college looks like a dumpster. Going into the classroom, not only does it have another one of Squilliam's friends, but if this is such a prestigious college, how did SpongeBob and Patrick get in here?
Would you two numbskulls mind telling me what you're doing in music class anyway?
Sure. Patrick's New Year's resolution was to learn to play an instrument.
They say it was their New Year's resolution to take a music class, but you'd think it'd be harder for them to get into an esteemed music school if they just decided to go to it on a whim. Seems like they're just letting in anyone to sell this ruse. Then, both
I would agree with that.
the police, Squilliam and the headmistress, and a live news broadcast show up at the same time to arrest Squidward for impersonating Squilliam.
Why would the news be there unless someone tipped them off? Like, they're not going to know about that.
The extremely coincidental fact that all of these people suddenly showed up at the same time isn't enough for you to believe that Squilliam set it all up. I've got something that's going to blow your mind. Squilliam literally has the police working for him.
Squidward Q Tentacles, I'm placing you under arrest for impersonating a genius.
If that doesn't sound like he's been paid off, I don't know what does. The lengths that Squilliam goes to humiliate Squidward are insane.
I would agree that there's definitely like some kind of conspiracy here. I think Alex is right that Squilliam is definitely like forking out a lot of money just to try to screw over Squidward and try to like impress Squidward at the same time. It seems like it's an obsession at some point. This seems kind of like it turned into an obsession. Who builds a statue of themselves cleaning up garbage so they can brag that they cleaned up garbage for a week? Like, are you out of your mind? Who buys a friggin' building, makes it look like a school, like, just to humiliate someone else? This seems like it's an obsession, actually.
He literally builds statues and entire buildings just to make Squidward feel inferior. But why? Why would anyone go so far to embarrass an old high school band classmate? What happened between them? What could have caused this extreme level of dedication? Well, unfortunately, we never really get much information on their past. I've spent hours reading through the SpongeBob Wikipedia and looking at old episodes, and there really just isn't any clues that would explain their weird relationship. I guess we can't solve everything, but...
I think SpongeBob or Squidward just needs to block him and then don't associate yourself with him anymore. Because clearly it's not brought him any good things.
But either way, that's my theory. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Wait a second.
Uh-oh.
Wait a second. Season 6, Episode 5, Slide Whistle Stooges. Just a normal episode where SpongeBob and Patrick annoy Squidward. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Except I have one...
Was that? Hold on.
SpongeBob and Patrick annoy Squidward. Nothing really out of the ordinary.
Is this Squilliam's coat?
Except I have one question about this episode. Why does Squidward have Squilliam's robe? That is clearly not the purple robe he usually wears. That is Squilliam Fancyson III's robe. Why would Squidward have this? Unless they were more than just classmates.
Are they lovers?
Could they have once been dating? No way. That's not possible.
That would explain the obsession, though. Like, who do you know gets most obsessed? Exes and Twitch chatters.
There's no evidence to support that. Right?
Don't be intimidated, Squidward. Try to imagine him in his underwear. Oh no, he's hot!
No, it can't be.
I mean, what kind of a moron would go to their worst enemy's music recital?
It's been right in front of us this whole time.
Our sources last saw Evil harassing teenagers up at Makeout Reef.
Makeout Reef. Good times, good times.
Voted most likely to suck eggs in high school.
Holy shit!
That's a crazy ending, but maybe true. It would explain the obsession that Squilliam has over Squidward, that's for sure, though. Anyway, I hope you guys like this. I agree. I like this theory a lot. I don't know. I can't really find that many plot holes in it. But I think I remember in one of the other videos I reacted to from Alex that he said that people had pointed out plot holes in this. So I wonder what those plot holes were. Like, are they in the comments? Okay, someone says the fish doctor's in the episode where Gary needs a shot. That's what I said. So... because that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. But it doesn't mean that Squilliam didn't call the doctor about Squidward, and that's exactly what it sounds like did happen. Okay. Also, someone in the comments points out how Squilliam's paintings don't have unibrows on them, so therefore that insinuates that it's actually paintings of Squidward, and that would strengthen the theory of them dating at some point. That's crazy. Anyway, hope you guys like this. Go subscribe to Alex Bale. I like this theory a lot, actually. It was a good theory. And yeah, with that being said, I rate this out of a 10 for theory. As I couldn't really find that many holes with this, I'm going to rate it high, probably like a 9. But yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys next time.